Hello IT Pros and welcome back to my IT workshop. This is Alvendril, and in this video we will be coding a Python script, of course, to reboot a Cisco device. Okay, so before we start, this is my IT workshop. If you scroll down a little, you're going to see all the videos about automation using Python. So I have some videos about this, so if you're interested, the link for this playlist is going to be in the top right of this screen. Besides, I'm going to use the Netmiko library to connect to a Cisco device. So I'm not going to explain in detail all what the syntax is, because I have done it in this video. So this video is going to be in the video description below if you're interested. Okay, so now let's start. So first, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Now, as you know, I'm going to do it in Python. I'm going to do it in the IDE, the one you can download from python.org. You can use any other software to code, like VS Code or I don't know, PyCharm. So there are many options, but this is the easiest. Okay. So first, I'm going to I have this file open. So I already created it. As you can see, it's called Reboot a Cisco device. I'm going to use a switch for this example, but I know that this also works for a router, right? So first I'm going to, well, not first, second, I open a CMD. This is a Windows computer and my icons are a little bigger so you can see better what I do. So the one I have at home, this is the Cisco device, the switch that I have used in many other Python automation videos. So I'm going to show you that this is a real switch. It's not emulated, it's a real physical switch. So I'm going to ping 192.168.1.110. So as you can see, the ping is working. This is the switch that we're going to use. And now I'm going to SSH to it. So it's not Telnet, it's SSH. So it's secure. So then it's going to ask me for my password. Like I mentioned before, this is a switch that I use for testing purposes. It's not a switch that is connected to the internet or something. I just use it for practice, Cisco certification or, coding. So the passwords are not the most secure thing in the world, but that's what I have. So the password is this one, and I'm inside. The name of the switch is my IT workshop 1. So I'm going to enable it, and I have another password for this. So okay, 45, and here we are. So I'm going to do a show version. So as you can see, this is the model over here. So this is kind of an old switch, but I mean, it's working. And the code I'm going to show you, it works for any new model that use the Cisco iOS operating system. Okay, so this is what we have. We have done many others in the past, many other videos regarding to automation with Python and Cisco. So as you can see, it's there. So I'm going to put it down, and now we're going to start coding. So we have, like I mentioned, we are going to use the Netmiko library. So I'm going to import it. So from Netmiko, import connect handler. So import, this has to be M. So from Netmiko, import connect handler. So this is what we need. We are not importing the entire Netmiko library. Well, I mean, you can do it, but I'm only importing this method, connect handler. Okay. So now I'm going to start doing like a pop-up window for the client, in this case myself or anybody that is going to use it, asking, hey, what device do you want to reboot? So I'm going to create a variable name of device. You can call it anything that you may like, and it's going to be an input. So this one is going to say device to reboot. So in this case, when we are asked this question, we have to fill it out with the IP address, okay? Because like I said, I'm at home and I don't have a DNS server, so I can only use IP addresses. But if you have it, for example, I use this script at work with more modification, of course, but I can use names because we have obviously a DNS name, a DNS server, but in this case, we're going to use an IP, okay? Now, the next thing is going to be the username. So let's make it capital. User is equal to input, and it's going to ask us enter username. So we have that. Then we are going to do the same for the password. Input, enter password. And now, as you have seen a few seconds ago, I have two passwords: the password to log into the switch and the password here to enable it. So I have access to all the configurations, I can change things and all that. So like I said, we're going to reboot a switch in this case, or a router. So I need to be in enable mode to have access to all those commands. And since I have another password, so we need to do this one more time. So I'm going to, this has to be password, and this is going to be, what are we going to call it? Enable pass, something like that. So we have two passwords. Now, most likely, if you work in a company, you're going to have only one password, which is, in other words, the enable password is going to be the same password to log into the switch, or to the router, or to the firewall. So, because normally in medium-sized big companies, they normally have a radio server. So, with the same credentials you use for Windows or Linux, you can log into the network devices. Okay, but again, this is my home switch, my home network, so I don't have that. So that's why I have two passwords. Now the next step is to create the data structure that Netmiko uses. So I'm going to create another variable. You can call it anything that you may like, but I'm going to call it network device, and this is going to be a dictionary that looks like this. So in here, we have to put the information that Netmiko is going to use. And this information has to be the way I'm going to type it, not different. So host is going to be the device that we want. In this case, is name of the device, that's the variable. Then we're going to have the username. I'm going to explain it a little in a few more seconds. Username. So this one is going to be the user over here. Bam. Then we have the password, and this one is going to be the first password, the one that we use to log in, to authenticate using SSH. So this one is going to be password, like this, and the next one is going to be secret, and secret is going to be my enable password. Well, that's what I call the enable password. So that's what we need. Okay. Before I go further, I'm going to really quick explain this. So these are variables. Okay, to start off, this is a dictionary, right? Network device is a dictionary. So all these, the host, the username, the password, the secret, I cannot change it. You cannot change it. I didn't name it like that because I want it. It's how Netmiko requires it to be. So what you can change though is this one, name of the device. If you don't want this, for example, you can directly put the IP address here. If you need that, 192.168, you can do that if you want. But in this case, I want it to be, I want to have more choices. For example, I might not want to reboot the same device all the time. So we have many different options, and many different clients might want to use this script. Okay, so we have this, and then I'm going to make another variable that is going to call make connection, and it's going to be equal to what we have called the method that we are importing from the Netmiko library, and we are going to unpack it, net device. So this part is the one that I explain in more depth in the video I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So I'm not going to do it here, but we are unpacking, okay? We're unpacking this dictionary. So next we have to use this one, make connection that enable. So that allow us to connect to the device using SSH. So now we are going to type the command that we want to run. So that's going to be command equal, and what command do we need to reboot a Cisco device, a switch in this case? So that's going to be the reload command. Okay, command. All right, we have this now. And next, every time, this is my advice, Okay, so my advice is to every time, since this is going to be a script, it's a good idea to save the configuration. Maybe on the switch, on the router, on the firewall. Maybe it was not safe because before this, and there are a lot of configurations that it has been done by somebody that we don't know. And if we reboot it, we are going to lose all that configuration. So it's always advisable to, before rebooting the device, save the configuration, okay? So what we can do is we can create a variable called, I don't know, save conf. And this one is going to be, now we're going to say, we're going to send commands. We're logged into the switch right now, and now we're going to send commands. So the way we do this is we're going to use this one as always, because this is the variable that is allowing us to connect to the Cisco device. Oh, I forgot something here that if I didn't type it, it's not going to work. It's device type, and this is going to be Cisco iOS. So if we don't type this, Netmiko doesn't know what device it's going to connect to. So for example, Cisco iOS, as you can imagine, it means that we are going to connect to a Cisco device. So I have done another video, you can check it out in my channel, where I connect to a commodity switch. So you can also do this on Aruba, Juniper, and other big name brands. But the one I use most of the time is Cisco. But it works for any other manufacturer. You just need to know this part. As always, I'm going to leave the information for the library in the video description below. Okay. So now, save configuration, make connection. So we need to send a command. So the command to send a command is this one. Send command. So we are using the make connection because, like I said, this is the one that is allowing us to connect to the device, and then we have to use some, all this part is from the Netmiko library. So it's from the connect handler. So we have to use it that way. It's not that I want it to be this way, it has to be this way. So here we're going to send the command. So the command to save the configuration is write mem, right? Or write memory. This is just a contraction, you know, like show ver instead of show version. Show version is the same, okay? So that's why I'm going to do it that way. Okay, then we are going to print save config. So just we see what the command returns. Okay, we have this save configuration. Then we are going to print the configuration, and now we can create another variable. It's not necessary, but we're going to create another output, and then it's going to be the same because we're going to send another command. Make configuration, send command. So we copy all this, and the command we need is reload, right? So instead of all of this, we can do this. Another way to do this would be to just type the command we need, reload, like this, so we don't need this part. But I'm just doing it in different ways so you can see there are many options to do it. So I'm going to keep it with command, and then we are going to test something. So when I come here, this is the Cisco device, right? Where am I? Okay, I was disconnected. SSH. So my password is going to be Academy 45, and then you can. Okay, so we're here. So if I choose reboot, what happens? It's not reboot, it's reload. I made a mistake here. So we have to wait a few seconds until this domain server goes away. Okay, here it is. If I type reload, it's going to reload in this case, this switch. But here's something. After we press enter, we have to confirm it. We have to press enter again to say, yes, I didn't type it by mistake. I really want to reboot the switch, the router, the firewall. And this part is not very clear when you're doing code because the switch in this case is waiting enter, that you press enter or that you type Y. the letter Y instead of yes. Okay, if you don't do that, nothing happens. It's going to stay like this forever, right? So I tested before, and that's how it works. I'm going to type Ctrl Z because I don't want to do it, but this is the part that is, let's say, interesting. So we have this, and normally we only would have to send this command, but because of this device is waiting something from us, in this case it's waiting for us to press enter, we have to add another variable. So it's called expect, and this is the first time I explain it and I use it in an example. I never in another videos, I have never done it in other videos. So let me allow me a few seconds. I'm going to explain it to you. Confirm. So we are saying that the output variable make connection, which is this one over here, send command, this is Netmiko, the command that we want to send, which is reload, comma, expect a string. So I'm telling the command that once you send the command reload, after that, right after, the computer, well, the switch is going to be expecting for a confirmation. So if we go back here, you see this one? It's the same. It's waiting for that confirmation. Let me type so I'm not kicked out in a few more minutes. So I'm waiting for it. So it's waiting, okay? It's waiting for that. So now the next step is going to be this, make connection that, what's called, we have two options here. We can either send a command like this and send this. So if you don't know, in Python, this and a few other coding languages, this means that it's going to simulate the press of the enter key. So this means that after we send the command reload, it's going to be expecting for a confirmation. So right after we send the command enter. Okay, so that should simulate over here that we are pressing the enter key. Okay, that's one option. Okay, the other option, that is the one I like the most, I'm going to comment this, is this one. So make connection, and we have to use the disconnect method, disconnect, like this. So in other words, we are telling, hey, when you're expecting the confirmation, just disconnect. And this disconnect, it simulates, it's included, if you will, the enter key. Okay, so at the end we can print something like completed, like that, if it works. So now we're going to test it out. I believe everything is in order here. Well, we're going to see if we have an error anyway. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to open another CMD just to show you. See my other monitor. I'm going to make it a little smaller, like this, or a little wider, and we are going to ping to this to the Cisco device, 192.168.1.110, and I want it to be a continuous ping, so it's doing it forever. Well, maybe it doesn't look that good, so like this, it's a little better. So it's pinging forever because the device, as you can imagine, is on. So I'm going to save it, and let's see what happens. Run module. So device to reboot. So give me a second. Let's make it smaller. What's IP address? I always forgot this IP address. 192.168.1.168.1.110. So it's asking us for what device we want to reboot. Enter the username. It's Alvendril, like the name I use for this channel, and the password. I don't have any problem sharing the password because it's a local network device. It's not connected to the internet or anything. So my password is the one I use in the other videos, Academy 45, and the other password, which is the what's the name? The enable password is going to be educate 45. So let's see if we have any error first. Let me make it a little smaller, and this one is over here. So this one is over here. So let's see if I have any error. So enter, and let's see, let's wait a few seconds. Building configuration, so that's the result of the save command. And it says completed, so request timeout. So the device, the switch is next to me, literally. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but it takes a few seconds to boot up. Not sure if you can hear it, but it's very loud. So it's going to be making that noise for, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But that's what happens when you reboot a Cisco switch, at least. So it's doing that. As you can see, it's rebooting. Maybe I'm going to speed up the video while we wait, but this is a good time for you to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Okay, so after 6 minutes or something, the video was sped up. I have connection again, and the switch is not making that loud noise. So I'm going to stop this one, and I'm going to connect again. So let's try SSH. Let's see if it works. Password, well, you already know my password, which is Academy 45 exclamation and educate 45 exclamation, and we are back to the switch. So there is the same switch, nothing different there, and you know it's working. So the other thing, maybe you're saying, hey, this part where you type your password over here is not very secure, and I agree with that. There is another way to hide the password that you type, or anybody's password, but it doesn't work on this IDE, on this environment that we're using here. It just doesn't work. I tried many times, but when you turn it into an executable file like this one, it works. So you don't see the actual. You can also hide the username, but you don't see the password, which is the more important, in my opinion. So in the next video, we're going to try to do like an interface, something like this one over here that I have done one of my videos, how to make a very basic game in Python, like this. So we're going to make something that it asks us for the username, the password, the device, and then we click send. So it's going to restart, but it's going to look like this. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other comment or questions, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.